Getting started, creating a content contribution submission, video 2 in series. To earn Yellow Energy and Yellow Energy XPs, players must submit their original, as in their own content contribution via the content contribution system. Content creators who share accurate, informative, inspiring, or otherwise relevant content that fits the framework of the Yellow Energy feature will be eligible for Yellow Energy. All that is required to make a Yellow Energy submission is having an Earth2 account that is KYC verified. Signing up for an account is free, and getting KYC verified only takes a couple of minutes. If you don't yet have Essence, purchase your first property to start claiming Ether now. HTTPS Earth2 news territories. Submitting a content contribution is easy. Go to Content Contributions from your player menu. Find this Submit Contributions button from the Your Submissions page. Complete and submit the Submit Contribution form. Be sure to provide all the relevant information, such as the platform and the format of your contribution, and some text to describe your original content. Guidelines for contributors. Creating valid contribution submissions. To create a valid content contribution submission, it is first important to keep in mind that the Yellow Energy system is designed for genuine Earth2 contributors who have put in time and effort into creating engaging and accurate content pertaining to Earth2, fostering an informative, entertaining, and overall supportive impact on the community. Therefore, there is a standard that is expected and required of the content that is submitted, and we ask all players to be self-critical when considering what they decide to submit. Contributors may create submissions for eligible content for consideration by the Earth2 team. To submit a valid content contribution submission, the minimum requirements are: contributors must submit their own original content relating to Earth2, the Earth2 metaverse, the project, or the Earth2 brand. Contributors must submit content which has been shared or published outside of Earth2, and submissions must not contain hateful, offensive, ill-intentioned, spam, or otherwise unrelated content. These will be swiftly removed and the contributor will be penalized. The content must not have been submitted and approved rejected before. To be deemed valid, a submission must meet the above requirements, as well as meet the overall guidelines set for approvable content to receive a positive value, as in more than 0, score on the evaluation criteria. Content URL. All content submitted must have a valid URL from a valid platform. It must be publicly available and not require any content to be downloaded. Eligible platforms, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and X. An other option is available for platforms which have not yet been added to the list of available platforms, which will regularly be updated as needed. Not all alternative platforms submitted will be added. Eligible formats, including but not limited to video, audio, image, and text content. An other option is available for formats which have not yet been added to the list of available platforms, which will occasionally be updated as needed. Not all alternative formats submitted will be added. Case-by-case approved content. Content type that is not guaranteed to be approved. Retweets and comments fall into this category. They foresee that the majority of comments and retweets will not be eligible, but a select few may qualify because they meet the requirements of content, such as a large number of views, likes, comments, etc. They must stress the strict standard with which these will be evaluated and do not recommend this for most players, which will also free up our internal team resources to focus on the more relevant submissions. Endorsement Cap. The number of endorsing players determines how many players may stake Essence to a submission, as well as how much Essence they are able to stake. Less endorsers mean more Essence can be staked and rewarded for each endorser. Influencers or community leaders may wish to communicate with their followers/community to coordinate when they will submit a contribution and how many endorsers they will allow. Staking your Essence. At the point of submitting a contribution, contributors have an opportunity to stake their own Essence to their submission. The stakeable amount is determined by the Endorsement Cap. Penalties for invalid contributions. The yellow energy system relies on the honesty and goodwill of its participants. Submissions which are deemed invalid due to being hateful, offensive, ill-intentioned, spam, or otherwise unrelated to Earth2 will be rejected, and the contributor will be penalized with negative yellow energy experience points, in addition to the loss of up to 20% of any staked essence loss, which applies to all stakers. This measure is to ensure fairness and uphold the standard of content which aligns with Earth2's values. Repeat offenders may be blocked entirely from creating new submissions to mitigate further losses to innocent stakers. Therefore, we encourage all players to adhere to the guidelines provided to foster a respectful and supportive community. Let's continue to build Earth2 as a platform of creativity, positivity, and collaboration. Guideline overview for contributors. Contribution component. Value. Additional information. Valid URLs. HTTPS. URLs must begin with HTTPS. Valid platforms. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, X. Other. The other option is available for platforms that are not currently listed. Valid formats. Video, audio, image, text. Other. The other option is available for platforms that are not currently listed. Endorsement Cap. One person can stake 33 essence. Number of players who can endorse your submission. Mint stake. 1. When the endorsement cap is set to 1,000. Max stake. 33 essence. When the endorsement cap is set to 33. Yellow energy rewards. Based on scores against evaluation criteria. Essence rewards. 0% to 10%. Awarded on a case-by-case basis by the Earth2 evaluation team. Yellow energy penalties. Given on a case-by-case basis by the Earth2 evaluation team. Yellow energy penalties do not affect the yellow energy balance, but do affect the contributor's loyalty points. Essence penalties. 0% to 20%. Given on a case-by-case basis by the Earth2 evaluation team. Guidelines for endorsing contributions. Essence staking. While yellow energy is strictly for Earth2 content creators, all players have the potential opportunity to reap essence rewards by endorsing another player's valid content contributions. To endorse a contribution, players will stake essence to the contribution via the All Submissions overview. When a contribution submission is successfully approved by the Earth2 team, the essence rewarded to all players who have endorsed a contribution will be relative to the percentage of essence that was originally staked for that endorsement. The amount of essence that can be staked in an endorsement varies from contribution to contribution and is determined by the endorsement cap specified by the contributor, the player who created the submission. All submissions allow a maximum of 1,000 essence to be staked against each contribution. The contributor specifies how many people can endorse their contribution, from 33 to 1,000 people. So the amount of essence that is required to endorse a certain contribution is the number of endorsers, 1,000 total stakeable essence. The reward for staked essence is only given if the submission is approved, granted positive yellow energy rewards, and the essence reward percent will be determined on a case-by-case basis by the Earth2 team. We cannot stress enough for supporters not to expect big percentage rewards on their staked essence. You are supporting content you feel strongly about and believe is relevant and may receive an essence reward ranging between 1–10% of your staked essence if the submission is approved. Note: submissions that are deemed invalid and receive TOTI, yellow energy rewards, will incur a loss of up to 20% of the staked essence to anyone who endorsed the contribution submission, including the contributor themselves, if they endorsed their own contribution. Therefore, players who endorse submissions should be mindful and stake their essence to valid contributions to avoid potential losses and help to strengthen the endorsement system. The exact percentage of essence loss can range from 0% to 20% and will be influenced by the submission rejection reason. The purpose of this loss system is to ensure the internal team is receiving correctly endorsed content from the community, allowing for the best use of their time reviewing fully endorsed submissions. Guideline overview for stakers. Staking component. Value. Additional information. Staking amount 1 to 33.3. determined by submission endorsement cap. Potential staking reward, determined by Earth2 evaluation team on a case-by-case basis. Potential staking loss, 0 to 20%, determined by staking amount. Staking limit, stakers can stake as much essence as they like. Reporting limit, 1 per submission. Stakers may report an offensive, harmful spam or otherwise irrelevant submission. Staking duration, 1-2 weeks, determined by length of time it takes to evaluate and reward penalize a submission. Evaluation criteria. Contributions which are submitted by players are evaluated against the following criteria. Performance metrics. Performance metrics, views, likes, shares, are used to calculate the base points for the submission. Contribution metrics endorsement scores. Contribution metrics are used to award points based on engaging and accurate content pertaining to Earth2, fostering an informative, entertaining, and overall supportive impact on the community. This evaluation criteria is a synergy of the different components which define a content contribution through a logical framework to calculate the yellow energy reward for each submission. The final yellow energy reward for a contribution submission is the sum of the performance score and the contribution score multiplied by the relevant boost. Different content formats such as video, audio, image, and text are also weighted differently in the scoring system. Videos and visual submissions done well will often have higher rewards, but in some cases this may also extend to the likes of detailed websites, blogs, software, and so on. General system housekeeping. Approvals and rejections of content contribution submissions will slowly begin next week. They ask for patience as their team applies the guidelines to submissions, and they believe over time the system will become more streamlined. A brief period of time will be provided for invalid submissions to be removed by the contributor before approvals and rejections are finalized. After the first couple of weeks of this system being live, submission evaluation will stabilize, and contributors and endorsers alike should expect a strict standard of evaluation. Contributors also have a reward success rate that is affected by the number of submissions that are approved, and every rejection contributes to lowering their success rate, which in turn makes their submissions less appealing to endorsers. Genuine contributors should also consider adding their Earth2 player ID or profile link to their profiles, channels, so that potential endorsers can easily match the content contributor to the genuine creator of the content. By introducing the yellow energy system where players can be awarded for existing and future content, they hope to recognize their long-term contributors, as well as encourage emerging content creators and supporters of Earth2. They look forward to building this incredible community together. Join the journey, shape the future. Earth2, the people's metaverse. FAQs. Are hollow buildings included in the content contribution and yellow energy system? No, hollow buildings are not included in the content contribution system. There will be something else for hollow building creators released in the future. However, you may create a submission for posts, images, and/or videos, which inform or educate people about HBs or the HB features in Earth2. These will be evaluated on the merits of the post itself, not the craftsmanship of the HB. Can I submit my entire X profile for evaluation? No, their team will not approve any submissions for profiles or channels. The content contribution submission must provide a specific and entire content for evaluation, with clear reason and details to support the submission. Can I submit content in a language other than English? Currently, there is a limitation with accepting content in languages other than English. They will be accepting Korean applications, as they have people in their team who speak Korean. They will initially trial submissions in other languages, but may restrict the type of content that can be submitted due to the language limitations of our evaluation team. Are translations of Earth2 content valid submissions? It depends on where the translation was published and the audience. They recommend submitting contributions of translations of official Earth2 content, such as articles and announcements. Translations of regular comments will not be accepted. Do E2-related polls count as content contributions? This depends on the purpose of the poll and the poll options. Please consider the contribution value of the poll and whether it offers more than just entertainment before making a submission. Check the evaluation criteria for more details. Are retweets of Earth2's or the CEO's tweets considered valid? Most retweets will not be considered valid and should not be submitted. However, if the retweet offers more information, insight, original content, and can stand on its own merit against the evaluation criteria and has significant engagement or coverage, then it is worth making a submission. Do memes count as valid content? No, although they can be entertaining, memes are not eligible content unless they have significant and measurable coverage or engagement. I was an interviewee in an interview posted on YouTube. Can I submit the interview for content contribution as a participant in the interview? While they acknowledge a lot of time and preparation can go into an interview from both the interviewer and interviewee's side, they cannot accept content posted by another person, even if you are featured in the video, as they cannot verify the details of your contribution. If you have collaborated with another player to create an interview or video and have both contributed creatively to the content, they suggest you reach a mutual agreement to post the content on your respective pages. Unfortunately, they cannot accept anything else as it takes away from the efforts put in by the interview organizer and video creator themselves. My contribution that I submitted is not fully backed. Should I remove it and resubmit? No, they do not recommend removing or resubmitting purely based on not having a fully backed submission. Common reasons for why your submission may not be fully endorsed is either because you have set your endorsement cap to 1,000, which requires more players to endorse, or your submission is viewed as invalid by other players. If the latter, please review your submission against the evaluation criteria we have shared. What happens if I endorse a submission made by a contributor who is not the owner of that content? There is a risk that you may lose 0.20% of the essence you have staked to endorse that submission. The Earth2 evaluation team may be lenient with penalties to stakers to avoid a loss to stakers if they deem the submission to have been submitted in a way which did not make it obvious to stakers that the content was not their original content. However, if the submission is very obviously invalid and staking was done carelessly, no such leniency will be provided, and careless stakers should expect to lose essence from endorsements they give ignorantly. What happens if someone creates a submission for a content they submitted before? When this happens, no loss will be given to the endorsers, as it is not something they will be able to see. Instead, the contributor will be penalized with negative yellow energy XPs and a rejected submission which will affect their title and success rate respectively. Can I make a content contribution submission for historic content? Yes, of course you can. However, you cannot create multiple submissions for the same content or create submissions for content which have been copied and shared multiple times. Yellow energy will not be tradable at this stage. Rewards such as red energy, yellow energy, and future energies will not be tradable. But if this changes, confirmation will be provided by Earth2. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.